About 10 years ago, I was an early 20-something studying abroad in London. One weekend I spontaneously booked a solo trip to Venice. I really didn't tell anyone in my study abroad program I was going, I just went. It was a wonderful trip, but there's something about it that still sticks with me to this day. Day 2 of my weekend trip, I was wandering aimlessly around Venice, just exploring the streets. I didn't have phone service there, so no GPS. It started raining, so I started heading back to my accommodations but was kinda lost. All of a sudden a handsome older man comes out of nowhere offering to shield me with his umbrella. We strike up a brief convo, and when I tell him I'm an American, he insists on showing me around Venice and taking me to a cafe. I really didn't want to, but I was trying to be polite, so I agreed. We start walking for like 20 minutes, passing by tons of cafes. We're getting further away from the busy touristy spots. I start to get anxious. I ask him how much further and he says not much. He wants to give me an authentic Italian experience, not one of the tourist spots. Suddenly we come upon an alleyway that jutted off from a plaza with a few shops. The alley, it looked dark, with no signs of life, no people around, and there were just heavy wooden doors that looked like they opened up to apartments or private residences, no signs or shop fronts that looked like a cafe. We stop at the entrance to this alley and he says okay, this is the way, with a big creepy grin on his face and gestures for me to walk ahead of him. I literally froze and my gut was telling me to not go down this alley with this stranger. So I said, sorry, I didn't realize how late it had gotten, I'm supposed to meet my friend who's flying in at the hotel. Which was a complete lie. He looked crestfallen and insisted we continue. I held firm and started walking in a different direction hurriedly toward a show we had passed, hoping to get back around people and shelter there until he went away. He literally followed me and wouldn't leave me alone. I forget how I finally lost him, but I did. He could have just been a genuine guy trying to make Italy special for a foreigner, but that gut instinct I got at the entrance of that alley was telling me if I walked down there I'd be leaving Venice in a boat under a tarp on my way to get trafficked. Who knows what would have happened, but it still sticks with me to this day. Bit different than the other stories I'm seeing in here, and I'm late to the party, so this may get buried. My dad comes from a family of farmers and builders. He grew up on a third-generation farm in Idaho with his 6 brothers and sisters. All of the boys initially went into construction trades, with one of his brothers finally specializing in electrical engineering. He builds his and his wife's, a police officer turned head detective, greenhouse shortly after finding out that they can't conceive, pouring all their money and life into it. A couple years pass and they receive an opportunity to adopt a little Native American boy from one of the local tribes around them. They take him, and a few years later, they adopt another little black girl. They get the family they always wanted, and get to raise them in the dream house they always wanted. A few years pass and their son is 16 years. He's had a few injuries from snowmobiling and sports, so he's freshly recuperating from a knee surgery and is enrolled in PT. He stays home from school the Monday after, telling his parents he was still in a lot of pain and didn't feel well, and he just kinda wanted to sleep it off. Pretty normal for a 16 years, especially as he's only been out of surgery for 72 hours now and is still getting used to his limited mobility during his football season, and his new medications. A few hours pass in the day, and his dad comes home to meet his wife for an appointment they were going to together. As he's walking around the house, he calls for his son. He's nowhere in their massive living room or his bedroom, his 2 favorite places to hang out. After loudly calling out his name while walking around the house, he hears a loud bang. It comes from the garage. Sounds like maybe something fell off a shelf or maybe came loose off the trailer. He walks in to investigate the noise, only to find his son laying in a pool of his own blood, holding his wife's service weapon. There was no note, no explanation. The best we got was an educated guess that his new RX meds weren't compatible with each other and raised suicide as the only way to resolve the pain he was currently feeling, as he was otherwise the carefree and life-loving kid we all knew and loved after his surgery still. My uncle and his wife still live in that house, and he still pulls into and parks in that garage every day after work, 15 years later. I still miss him every day, and wish he was still around to be my best man in a couple weeks.